She had only pushed her husband, but he splashed hot porridge in her face. Then he hopped on his motorcycle and rode into town to drink. Unexpectedly, that day the roads were completely covered in snow. Jack slipped and fell off a cliff. Not long after, his body was brought back in front of his wife. That evening, the villagers called a priest to perform rites for the deceased. The priest explained that, according to local customs, anyone who falls to their death from a cliff must have their body wrapped in a white cloth and carried into the mountains for burial. The next day, the villagers carried Jack's body up to the mountaintop. After a long and difficult trek, they finally reached their destination. But as they laid the body down, it twitched and then fell back off the cliff. Just as the villagers were terrified by this, something even more horrifying happened. The body, originally wrapped in the white cloth, came back to life and ran naked into the forest. Frightened, the villagers ran back to the town to tell everyone, and the entire village fell into a panic. The following day, the white cloth wrapping the body appeared at the edge of the village. A villager lifted the cloth and, sure enough, found Jack, the one who had fallen off the cliff. The villagers believed Jack had somehow come back to life and returned, but the female officer suspected it was a prank. She decided to take a team to the cliff to investigate. At the bottom of the cliff, they discovered a set of clothes. Since Jack had been carried up the mountain naked, whose jacket could this be? At that moment, a villager recognized the owner of the jacket. They quickly tracked him down to ask about it. It turned out that he had fallen into a lake at the base of the mountain that day. He had hurriedly taken off his jacket to dry it, but a body suddenly fell from above right next to him. Terrified, he ran home without putting his clothes back on. This revealed that the naked body the villagers had seen on the mountaintop was actually this man. Just as it seemed the mystery was solved, he insisted that the body that had fallen wasn't Jack. Sure enough, the female officer discovered another body at the bottom of the cliff. It was the village chief who had disappeared a few days earlier. A villager mentioned that, in the past few days, David had been saying he wanted to kill Jack. Upon learning this, the officer immediately went to David's house. Jack, unable to hide the truth, saw it all unfold. David admitted he had killed the village chief. That day, Jack wasn't home. David, who had secretly admired Jack's wife, had gone to speak with her, but when he opened the door, he found the village chief molesting her. David pulled out a small knife and stabbed the chief in the stomach. He had planned to dispose of the body, but then he heard that Jack had fallen off the cliff and died. So David came up with a plan. In the middle of the night, he swapped the village chief's body with Jack's. Later, when the villagers mistakenly thought the body had come back to life, David put Jack's body at the village entrance to prevent anyone from realizing it was actually the village chief who had fallen. The female officer also questioned Lisa and learned that David and Lisa had admired each other for a long time, but wealthy Jack had also set his sights on her. To marry Lisa, Jack had conspired with the village chief to harm her parents. Lisa's brother became mentally disabled as a result. Desperate to raise money for her brother's treatment, Lisa reluctantly married Jack. But Jack and the village chief got exactly what they deserved. It was all their own doing.